I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this 412th episode of the Political Spotlight. I am your host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey, and producer Kate is at the controls, making sure that everything is running smoothly as always. We welcome you and thank you for giving us a little bit of your time, whether you're watching live, which is live Wednesday, March 19th, 2025, or you're watching at your own time in the future at some point via replay. We thank you, we welcome you, and we ask that you enjoy the show. You watch, you agree, you disagree, you fight. If you agree with what we say and you want to interact and you're watching live, comment over here on the right-hand side. If you're watching in the future and you want to communicate, you comment down below, and that would be very helpful. Please hit the thumb, give us a like, click the bell, click the subscription if you haven't. It doesn't cost you anything. Share the show with everyone you know, and let's get into it. So, because I owe you guys finally an honest Gabe. Listen, for as crazy and unprofessional as we are here, trying to provide you some serious and factual and up-to-date political news, it could be much worse. It could be much worse. And I want to give you an example. I want to give you a few minutes of what it could be like if we were less professional than what we are here. If we were not as on the ball as we are. And so I want to give you an example. And what this example is going to be of is Honest Gabe. I've been telling you guys for the last couple days to remind me to show you the Honest Gabe. And right here at the beginning of this episode, I'm going to give you an example of the Honest Gabe. And I want, this is, people might say, well, wait a minute. Why are you doing this? Are you just poking fun at this guy for no reason? And I want to say, no, this very much goes in line with what I have been saying over the last couple of days, the last couple of shows, where it's like we have these groupings of people. We have the politicians, which are gross and corrupt, and they're only doing what's beneficial for them and their friends or family or the people that they care about. And then we have the group of people that don't do anything because it's not affected them yet. It's not touched their front door, their back door. It doesn't affect their sons or their daughters or their tax bracket or whatever the case might be. And those people are, as annoying. And then there are those of us that are paying attention. There are those of us that are involved. You guys, the amazingly smart and beautiful, good-looking, well-intentioned audience. But then there's this category of people who it's a mixture of wanting to be somebody, wanting to be important, wanting to be part of the clique. Just know they want to know. They think that it means something. That's the curse of politics, right? Our founding fathers created this system so that any normal American could be living their life, could go run for public office, local, state, county, township, federal, whatever, and do some years in their civic duty and then return back to their life. But that's not what it's turned into. It's turned into this curse of people feeling like they must always be involved. They once they've got a taste, it's like, seriously, the reason people say the term political junkie, Russ Willis's, Mike Jones, those people who have had a run, but they just can't give up and go on with their life in the private sector. It's crazy. And so this is why I always say, you hear people say, we've got to get active. We've got to get active. We've got to get active. That's never at first my battle cry. My first battle cry is we have to get educated. You must be educated before you run out, because when you have a bunch of goofballs, dimwits, running around wanting to be important, wanting to be somebody, oftentimes they can make it bad for those of us out here really trying to make changes. Now, listen, I am not saying, they don't have a right to be involved. They do. I just wish they would take the time to get educated. You don't watch Nightmare on Elm Street 3 before you watch Nightmare on Elm Street 1. These people are living in the Star Wars world where they watch them all out of order and you don't know what comes first. You're watching episode 3 before you watch episode 1 and all that kind of chaos. That's not how politics works. You have to crawl before you can walk, and you have to walk before you can run. And so it's important that we look at these things and people see, the people that are out here that they should be paying attention to and people that they maybe should not be paying attention to. And so this is kind of to poke a little bit of fun at a goofball, because let's face it, this kid's a goofball. For those people that will know this kid, he is a goofball. But at the same time, it's like, it's a little bit of a warning, like, hey, watch out for people like this. So I want to start off here by showing you they're on hyperspeed. So I want to show you this here really quickly. I'm going to add this to the to what we're watching here. And no, this isn't a new shirt there, Joe. I've worn this. It's springtime. I can start to wear my non-hoodies now, thank God. My collection of 3 shirts of all the, the exact same shirt. Yeah, there we are. Okay, so without further ado, here is some Honest Gabe. So we go to YouTube. Okay, we're gonna go here and look at what's going on here on YouTube. And this is the Hoosier Inquirer. Honest Gabe runs the Hoosier Inquirer. Now, the very, very first thing I gotta say is, as a person dealing with OCD, the H and the E really kills me. I'm like, I could help you fix this, dude. I could make that E fit in that cube better than that. That really bothers me. The E needs some work in there. That just, first of all, I can't hardly deal with that. But let's not get too caught up on that deal. Okay. Hello there, Stumblefoot. So I want to start off by showing you this. Now, look, this looks really nice. It's really put together. He's got a suit coat on. He's got a black shirt. So let's take a look at this. We're gonna click on this.
Stop. That's hilarious. Okay, whoever.
We're gonna take it back here.
Trying to make sure.
All right, here we go.
We're just testing all the equipment on multiple platforms. We are streaming on YouTube.
The very first thing that you'll notice is that a wig. No, it's not a wig. So this kid became obsessed with Donald Trump. You'll notice the cadence of his voice. He doesn't sound like Donald Trump because he's not trying to sound like Donald Trump, but he says things like Donald Trump. So that's what I want you to do. First, I want you to pick up on the Donald Trump isms that he kind of sounds like. But also, he started doing his hair in this very Beatle-esque, Trump kind of everything forward deal. And he's been doing that for a while now. I don't know why. But let's follow and listen to what goes on here. And listen, this really could be bad for me. I could be running all of you guys kind of like Trudeau. Yeah, I get you there, Tweety Bird. So I could be running you guys all away from me and over to the Hoosier Inquirer. And that's a risk I'm willing to take.
Facebook and Twitter. Catch us on Twitter where
before Stumblefoot stopped me there. Here's the thing. This kid put this up on live like it was streaming live. So it's a recorded video, but he is acting in the recording like it's a live stream. Remember that will be important here in just a moment. We're not going to watch this whole thing. I'm just going to hit a couple of the highlights.
I get in trouble for Twitter. Oh my God. I post something offensive and good old bitch boy Ryan Mears has to lock me up.
You got the Trump. It's already, we just started and he's already into the Trump. I post on Twitter and good old bitch boy Ryan Mears has to lock me up. So that's right straight away. I can't hardly do with it just because of that.
Streaming on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter. Catch us on Twitter where I get in trouble for Twitter. Oh my God. I post something offensive and good old bitch boy Ryan Mears has to lock me up. Oh yeah, good old Ryan Mears. You rape somebody, you murder somebody, it's okay here in Marion County, according to Ryan Mears, but heavens forbid you post something offensive on Twitter. Oh my God, it's a big deal. So today we are going to be talking about the local things happening here in Marion County. We actually have an exclusive here tonight. We're going to talk a little about it.
No, not everybody does that, David Hall. This is live currently. You're watching this live. You can talk to me right now live. We're watching this, and this is live. And the reason I bring that up is here in a moment, he acts as if he gets people that are emailing him and interacting with him live. Okay. And there's a point. It seems like I'm just beating up on this kid, but I will get to why this is relevant here in just a moment.
But it's mainly going to be for next week's show. But we're going to be talking about a couple things. We're going to be talking about an event happening on the 18th, the same day as we will be dropping an exclusive. Excuse me. I was parched a little bit. So, okay. So a couple things are happening here in Marion County. So I'm going to be going off on my rants a little bit. You get the honest Gabe, the honest Gabe. Everybody calls him dishonest Gabe, honest Gabe, George Santos Gabe, Matlock Gabe, Matlock Whitley. They call me all sorts of names, and then when I call them out on their BS, they sue me with lawsuits.
MySpace.
You got Abu, the Cracker Jack box lawyer. Abu, he's a hilarious clown. I'll tell you. All he does is cry his little hearts out, and so do his pathetic little followers. They're boomers. Boomers really suck. I'm sorry, but there are some really good boomers out there.
But a lot of kid does not like boomers.
Abu and WIBC really just suck. They're just terrible voters. They're terrible, terrible people. Anybody who listens to WIBC for political advice is really just retarded, and you should stay away from them, honestly. You know, people that listen to Mouthwash,
what the hell?
Vox 59, they're a little bit garbage, but any other news, even CNN's better than WIBC. Imagine that. They were actually telling real news the other day. Oh my God, believe it or not. All right, so what's happening here in Marion County? I caught some heat a little bit, I'll be honest. I got a call tonight about talking about Tiffany, good old Tiffany from Fishers, Indiana. She's hosting an event. And it's actually caught some headways here in Indianapolis. She had the WIBC Crooked Gang up there being her keynote speakers or a panel or whatever. So I caught some heat for that. I got a call today saying, "Why are you attacking Tiffany Henyard?" I call her Tiffany Henyard because she literally looks like Tiffany Henyard for the former mayor of Dalton in Illinois. Okay, literally. I'm going to pull up a picture, like and you tell me or not if she looks like
the most racist thing alive.
Look at that. Fucking what? She needs to be the mayor of Fishers. And
he's pulled two pictures of black women up next to each other and been like, look, they look like each other. They both have eyeballs. They both have noses. They both have a mouth. I mean, they both have straight hair. They're both amazingly wearing a red dress. But beyond that, they do not, in my opinion, look like one another. Like I get they're black. I think that's what he's trying to tell us is they're black.
Indiana, and then she just needs to like steal all the taxpayers' money, and then she literally be every fucking crooked politician here. Here in Indiana and Illinois.
This is my favorite part is he does this coughing thing. Now, please understand, those aren't the same person. What? Those aren't the same person? Stumblefoot, but are they both crooks? No, I wouldn't call Tiffany, who is, I don't know if it's on his right, his left. This one, this woman is Tiffany. You guys might recall Tiffany from, she is one of the co-hosts or panelists of the Mouthwash. She is the Republican on there, which Brando and I kind of questioned how Republican or conservative she was, because she like didn't really seem to care for the Second Amendment. She hated, she was all for censorship. She didn't like, well, she's a Republican in good standing with most of the other Republicans within the state of Indiana, because she did not like citizens or journalists or commentators being able to ask questions of elected officials. She thought that was a problem. So this is that. Here's the deal. The bottom line is this kid goes on and on. About every 3 minutes, he goes into a coughing fit. One of my best performances from this guy was the night before the tax rally down in Indianapolis. He had on a guest, and for the first hour and a half of the show,
why?
It was like a one-sided phone conversation. So he had a guest on, okay? He would ask questions of the guest. All right, let me get to Gabe here. He would ask his questions. Look at this. Gabe was silent. We couldn't hear Gabe.
Michiganders have driving issues too.
Then his guest would kick in and answer.
Michiganders love to tailgate. I tell you.
Then Gabe would start talking, and we couldn't hear him. And this went on.
Michigan's got Gretchen Whitmer, Gretchen.
For like an hour and 35 minutes of his video. And so what blows me away is the amount of people that follow this. And I just don't understand. Like, in my mind, I wonder, do they follow this kid for the sheer entertainment or like the car crash of it? Surely they're not getting, they're not, well, let me say it like this. They are not getting any type of actual information. But the problem with this kid is he's ran for Congress, okay? And he, just like McCormick, he's ran for Congress, and he has now been charged with, I think, multiple felonies. He put out as some kind of a, he called it a joke, but he gave listed the address for Abdul Hakim Shabazz, and said that Abdul should hear loud gunshots, and that maybe someone should shoot Abdul up. Him and Abdul are now in this like locked battle back and forth where they are battling each other. Abdul took him to court. This is the guy that called Rob Kendall a pedophile, and then was sued for defamation for that, and it went back and forth. So this kid has made his way into a lot of circles somehow here, and you just have to be on the lookout. That's why I always tell people, here's the thing. You don't have to believe what I'm saying. I don't want you to take what I'm saying as the gospel. I want you to listen to what I'm saying. And if you choose to believe me, great. But I point you into the direction of where you can go and do this research for yourself. I'm not out here asking for you to blindly follow me and just take everything that I say, for the gospel. I want you to do your own research. Now, I'm going to bring you as much information as possible. But and that's the other thing, Alva, is some of the views and some of the people could be Democrats saying, look at this Republican, look at how stupid they are. And that's where I'm talking about, when you have the people who are not really educated in the subject matter that they are talking about, that then they come out here and they're pushing this narrative and they're pushing these ideas that really aren't based on any kind of solid foundation. And that's very scary too. So we just have to be really, really careful. You know, you tell me what to think, damn it. Well, you know, Brandon out there, he needs to be guided very carefully. But you know, there's lots of other things that you could watch for entertainment. If this is just a entertainment type of a thing that you're doing, you could instead watch something that has much more entertainment value. And it would be something similar to this.
Thank you for having me on, Mike. You know, it's an honor to be on first. I just hope I don't bomb it and mess it up going forward here. But no, thank you.
If the reviews go south, we're going to blame it all on you. That's it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I serve House District 33, which is Randolph, Blackford counties complete. Portions of Jay, Delaware, and Henry County as well. I also serve on the...
Does he not open his eyeballs? I can't tell. I've been noticing that he's very snake-like. He's kind of like a snake in more ways than one. So we are not going to watch this because Brandon, hey, you need to watch it. Let me know what you think. I'm waiting for you to watch that show so badly. I need to discuss it with you. Good Lord. I'm not going to watch this, and we're not going to watch this. I just want to say this before we move into the main part of the topic of today's show. So this is something new that, yeah, I think you're right. You made mention of that, Kate, during the press during the rally the other day, that it looked like he got a haircut and cut his bangs off. I don't think he did. I think those are his bangs. I just think it's receding that much more. I'm really, really shocked. Anywho, this is something that I just find absolutely preposterous. And this is what I mean when I say that the communication has to go. There's two parts to communicating, right? When you say, I want a politician, an elected official to communicate. And what happens is the people that follow JD and the people that follow Micah Beckwith are saying, see, Bilbrey, here, they're communicating. He's doing a podcast. Have you ever seen a lieutenant governor do a podcast? Great. But he's telling you his best moments, his talking points. It's not them asking and answering hard questions. Micah Beckwith is not asking JD Prescott hard questions, and he's not answering hard questions, or vice versa. Like Kate says here, they're not communicating, they're talking at us. They're letting us know their talking points. And that's not communication. This is not communication. The other thing is, if you pull this back and you look at this, so this is on Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith's channel, okay? He's got a channel here, and this has had 122 views in, yeah, he's wearing an
House Ways
undershirt.
and Means
What's that
Committee.
mean? You wouldn't be wearing it. Normal people don't wear undershirts. I wear undershirts.
Not with suits anymore. People don't typically wear.
I would never wear. I don't ever wear a shirt like that without a shirt underneath.
Well, it's because you're old.
You mean young people don't wear shirts with shirts on underneath?
No,
That's crazy. I did not know that. I did not know that's a thing.
It's kind of more of an old-fashioned kind of thing.
Yeah, really?
Mhm.
I've got the cigarettes tucked up in my sleeve. All right, let's look here. So Carrie McFadden says nope. And Alva says, I don't. I was thinking that Alva was going to say I do. I hate, I thought I thought he was going to be with me on that. And that bothers me. Does Christopher carry a hanky around as well? No, I don't. I carry two, one for me and one for the other person. No, I don't. I missed the hanky craze. I am not there, but I can't believe that. I could never imagine putting on a suit shirt and wearing it without having now I don't do hankies are gross. I mean, that's just not something that's not something. It's very gross to me. I don't do I don't know what they're called, the actual name of them, tank tops, the wife beaters, if you will, the shirt, because to me that is missing the point. The whole point of wearing a shirt underneath, okay, and I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. First of all, I like having the collar here that does that. But then more importantly, the sleeve, and Kate did it underneath. The wife beater cuts out and has this. And I'm not a major sweater. Like, I don't like sweat like crazy, but I when you put on deodorant or antiperspirant, and then you put on, an expensive suit shirt, or even like a polo, and then you put this down and it's, it's in your armpit with the deodorant you're putting on, it's not a good thing. So I've always, and a lot of that comes from being a cop too, because that's really bad. Well, that's things that used to drive people crazy. And when I was a cop, when I was in patrol, I would put a t-shirt on, a really tight fitting t-shirt. I would then put a vest on, and then I would put a t-shirt on over the vest to lock the vest in tight. And then I would put my uniform shirt on, and it was great in the winter. It was a bitch in the summer, man. But I always like that to kind of keep everything tight. Oh God. Yeah. Yes. Are you new here? Is David Hull new here? That's like such a common name. I think we have like 5 or 6 people here. Tweety Bird, I promise you he's not a Muslim. I know JD, and he is religious, but he's not a Muslim, not a Mormon. He's not a Muslim or a Mormon. He's neither one of those. But no, he is I don't specifically know what denomination he is, but he's just a standard, regular, old around here Christian. I mean, I don't know what exactly his denomination is, but he's not wearing the special underwear, if that's what you're getting at. He might be just of his own accord, but I don't think it's not because he was a Mormon. And you can take that to the bank. So the thing with this is what I was getting on before you guys got me off track, is look what this says right here. Look what this says right here. Right here. Comments are turned off. Learn more. So I don't want these people telling us that they are willing to sit down and talk to constituents or journalists. They're not willing to meet the people where they are. They're not willing to do what they need to do to communicate with folks other than spread the message they want to spread and then keep that themselves locked away from people who have actual thoughts or questions. And look, I get it. I understand that they're going to say, well, we didn't want to be inundated. Well, inundated, they only have 121 views. So it's not like, it's not like they are going to be, thousands and thousands of comments of Christopher Bilbrey and Brandon Rudd on here, being mean to them. It's just interesting to me that, they've turned these comments off. That's not a good look. I don't like it. I don't like that the city of Muncie has done that on their Facebook page. I don't like that the lieutenant governor of the state of Indiana, because in all fairness, when he was running, I will say he was willing to answer questions and be everywhere and do, all this stuff. And now that he's in, they are turning the comments off, shutting everything down. And, that's very, very unfortunate. So I hate that. Okay. So that's that. If you guys want to watch this, you can find it on the Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith's page. And it's on, you can find it on Twitter. You can find it on, and on Twitter, somebody actually yelled at me earlier saying, well, they take this link and they take it back to their social media pages and you can comment there. Micah Beckwith has his comments turned off on Twitter to where on the lieutenant governor's page, the only people that can comment are people who he tags. So, like, for example, I cannot go on there and respond to this video and ask questions. And let me tell you, and what really blows me away, I guess before we leave, listen to what was probably the most important part of this entire 31 minutes between Micah and JD.
America was inherently a racist nation. America is as much or whatever,
right.
It's like, oh, well, those guys have become Christians because they're Hoosiers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man. I appreciate the fight. The last thing, and I'm passionate about this bill, is which bill I'm probably going to say. So tell me where the Harry Hoosier bill is at.
Yeah, so Harry Hoosier unfortunately didn't make it across this year in the first half as well. But this is a fun one, and it's to really honor Harry Hoosier, who is an evangelical preacher back in the early days of our country. Traveled the country with Francis Asbury, and the followers of his teaching were known as Hoosiers, and that's really how we got our Hoosier nickname. And so as he was traveling, he was illiterate. Harry was illiterate, and so he actually memorized scripture, most of the New Testament and most of the Old Testament as well. But he memorized all his scripture. He was known as, and he was
and you forgot to say, he was a freed black slave.
Yes.
So he was a black evangelical preacher who memorized the Bible, preached with guys like Francis Asbury. John Adams talks about Harry Hoosier. Benjamin Rush talks about Harry Hoosier being one of the greatest orators of the founding era. And so he would minister to guys who were coming out to the new territory, the Indiana, Ohio region. And people would say, what's wrong with those guys? They don't cuss as much. They don't drink as much. They don't, they don't steal as much or whatever,
Oh, I'm done with that. I can't listen to any more of it. But this is seriously JD's biggest deal, trying to make sure that the Hoosier State is called the Hoosier State, and that we know that in his mind it came from Harry Hoosier. This is the problem that we're running into. What I would like would be for JD Prescott to go back to District 33, and I would like for him to ask any and all of his constituents if they truly care about Harry Hoosier, if that's going to help them pay less on their property taxes, if that's going to help them find jobs, if that's going to help with the homeless situation, if that's going to help with the sex trafficking and the crazy situation in Winchester and Randolph County of the just explosion of sex crimes. Is this what the people of Jay County and of Henry County and Blackford County and portions of Delaware County are concerned about? I know nobody here is. And it kills me. It absolutely kills me. And, I knew when I first saw, I didn't know that they had released this right on top of releasing the trailer for it. So they released the trailer, and I said, oh, look, a fresh, cool, hip take on the government coming from Micah Beckwith and JD Prescott. This is really cool. Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith and his bestest friend in the world, State Representative from District 33, JD Prescott. The question is, when both characters are giving sidekick energy, where do you really go with that? Are they both going to be Robin? That's what I don't understand. JD Prescott's going to be Robin, and Micah Beckwith is going to be Robin. Like, what goes on there? I bet this is going to be some super hip youth pastor-ish like type of podcast called JD and Micah, the Thelma and Louise of the IGA. I think they missed out on calling this that. Instead, what do they call this? What do they call it? Uncut, uncensored, unscripted, something like that. I don't know, something really strange. Come along as these two trailblazers fight their way through the libtards and the constituents that dare ask them questions. Will they finally make Indiana the Hoosier State after all? Only time will tell. The only issue with this is the fact that this is Indiana. There are no real libtards. Unless you're counting. Did I say that out loud? I'm just kidding there. I'm just kidding, Tweety Bird. Kate says, Thelma and Louise, can we hope they too drive off a cliff? Yes. It's mind-numbing, man. I said, I tell you what, instead of whatever this crap is, if JD would start spending time that he's giving to this project, if he would start spending that amount of time instead with the constituents of District 33, he would be in a better situation. If he could only do that, if he could only, I tell you, even if he doesn't want to do that, if he wants to do the project, and if only he could sit down and talk to the people of East Central Indiana and give them the time that he spends with his new best friends at WIBC, he might actually do something. Oh, well, in the end, it'll be just another year of both of these tools getting paid great salaries to not really get anything done. But at least JD can say what he always says. I tried. At least I tried. So, I don't know. It's crazy. I guess Micah is going to release one of these shows weekly. I guess he doesn't have enough going on to answer the question. I don't know who asked it. Maybe Karen. this is not nothing. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. They're putting it out on YouTube, so it doesn't cost them anything. Now, I will tell you, if you look at, let me show you this, because this shows you some things that you might actually be concerned with. So look at this. Okay, putting it on the YouTube channel costs nothing. They can upload on YouTube for free. But let's take a look at this. They've got at least 2 light boxes. These things right here are light boxes. Okay. And those are easily $125 a piece, plus the stand they come on, which is probably another $30. And then they have 1, 2, 3, maybe a fourth camera. And I can't tell from this angle what these cameras are, but I would say that they are at least like Canons or Nokias, something like that. Something. I mean, their cameras are $200, $300 each at least. Okay, plus the tripods they're on. Okay, and the tripods they're on are again pretty salty. Then we've got this computer here, and of course, this computer I'm sure is a computer from the State House. But let's look here. Then they've got this editing software, and this editing software costs money. And let's look here. Okay, this gives us a better. Then these microphones are Rode Pro mics, and they're about $110. With the stand is about $30. So there's 2 of those. And then let's look at what the guy has over here.
Let's get started.
Okay, right there. It's kind of hard to see. This thing right here, this box down here that they have is what allows them to cut back and forth between the camera shots, and it is expensive. Okay, so listen. Oh, here's another. I didn't even notice this one. Here's another light box. Okay, so listen. This is a pretty look at this. All that money. A lot of money, but you want to talk about priceless, and it's this right here, this fist bump picture that we're getting right here from Robin and Robin. Oh my gosh, look at that. That is so cute. I can't even believe it. That's amazing.
Reminds me more of Wonder Twins Activate.
That's right.
They're both going to turn into puddles of tears.
I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but it reminds me of more like Ace and Gary. Anybody know who that is? Ace and Gary? Any late 90s, early 2000s Saturday Night Live fans in here? Ace and Gary, the ambiguously gay duo. That's more what this is like, and so very, very strange here. And like this is really weird. Look at what's going on in this picture. Their hands are touching. Micah is looking at their hands touching. JD is looking at Micah, looking at their hands touching. It's very, very odd. I don't know. So that is what it is. Okay. On, ladies and gentlemen. Damn it. I did the wrong thing. On, ladies and gentlemen, to the big Bill and Ted. They're not cool enough to be Bill and Ted. How dare you? They are nowhere cool enough to be Bill and Ted. Okay, so yes, David Hall. Yes, I was. I thought we've already answered that. Yes. Yes, I was. Hit me up on Facebook, and we can chat all about it. I don't know if we're friends on Facebook. Okay, yes, here we go. So the Delaware County items for everybody that is interested in what's going on in Delaware County. We have covered probably the biggest part of the Delaware County Commissioners Meeting. Here's what we need to really take a look at and need to really focus on, okay, is the fact that over the last couple of meetings of the Delaware County Commissioners Meeting, the Delaware County Redevelopment, Delaware County Redevelopment Commission, and the Delaware County Council, there has been one thread that has kind of connected those entities together. And, oh, yes, David, that's who, pause. That's who you are. Okay, that's who you are. All right. Let me double check. Give me 1 second, pause, and we'll get back to that. I'm sorry. That's who I knew the name. Let me see. If I've got your number here. 1 second. That's who you are. You're from Newcastle. Okay. Let me see. Yes. Yes, I have you right here. Hello. I just sent you a text message. I will give you a call tomorrow. I just sent you a text message. I will call you. Will you be available in the morning? It's just been a very, very, very busy last couple of weeks. But I will give you, if you don't hear from me by 9:30, I'll try to call you at 9, but if you don't hear from me by 9:30, call me and I will definitely chat with you tomorrow. I'm interested. Someone else, and I'm not going to say right here, but somebody else got a hold of me and talked to me a little bit about what I think you want to talk to me about. So I will call you tomorrow and we can chat because you're from Newcastle. So yes, I am very interested after lunch. Okay. So 12:30, 1 o'clock. Does that work? I thought you were a guy I thought you in here, David Hall, was a guy from Indianapolis that now I know who you are. Okay. Stumblefoot. Yes, I will give you a call tomorrow at between 12 and 12:30 and we will chat. So yes, that is exactly true. You hit the nail on the head. So yeah, I will definitely get in touch with you. Now I know who you are, and it makes sense. Yeah, we'll chat it all up tomorrow. Okay, so back to Delaware County government. So the single thread that has been connecting the commissioner and the Redevelopment Commission and the council meeting of the last couple of meetings has been the empty, vacant position of Brad Bookout. Brad Bookout was the Redevelopment Commission director, kind of / edit person, if you recall. and he ran the redevelopment commission meetings and did all of that, yada, yada, yada. Okay, remember? Well, his seat has been vacant since he won a seat on the Delaware County Council. And that's been kind of a problem because they have been drifting alone without any kind of real leadership. And, to me, that's just saved us a bunch of money. However, to the people in the shadows, it's been leaving a lot of money on the table. So the very first thing up I want to show you is we're not going to watch through all of the meetings from the Redevelopment Commission meeting, all of the meeting from the council meeting, and all of the meeting from the commissioners meetings. We're just going to hit and miss. And then you can go back and you can watch these meetings in full if you like. But I'm going to tell you what I think are the most important things to be watching. Now, let me see here the ECIRPD agreement for economic development services. Aha. Okay, so this is the first thing up that we're going to be looking at here. All right. Okay, let's find the 14th item on the agenda.
Obligated to make any payments to the bondholders. So that's important to keep in mind. That shrink the tax base from losing the personal property assessed value, from increased homestead deductions, from additional deductions on 2%.
Two parts to it. There's a commission that we pay to make my move, and then there's money that goes actually as an incentive to the person who moves.
Okay, make my move. Let's see where that's at on this. Oh man, that's way far down. All right, hold on.
Travel up north. I was waiting on a final version to come back, and I did not see that it did. So we can get that to you guys. I assumed today was just going to be an update since I hadn't seen the final version. They had gone back and forth. And just to give a little bit of a background too, so a lot of the mental health facility is going to be paid through ARP dollars, but
okay,
not to us.
To the local side.
Yes, that's correct. After.
And for everybody who's like, wait a minute, what's this? They had to take a 10-minute recess and reconvene in the lobby because this meeting lasted so long last Thursday that it cut into when somebody else had bought the room or rented the room for the afternoon. So they had to reconvene. This is why they need to start using the Delaware County Commissioners courtroom for every single one of their meetings. They're going to on the next one, but they definitely need to just moving forward.
A month, 2 months.
Get them here,
Get them here, get them set, and then put them on further discussion.
So there was an issue with the Delaware tip that I think is maybe on the back mile of this page, or maybe not even, because it was an issue that I was just made aware of yesterday. So when at the end of the year with your Delaware tip, Matt Epperly touched on this also, and it's the agreement that Commissioner Brady asked that you guys could all make sure you have before you. The way that it was structured and set up was that at the end of the year, accounting for any obligations that need to be paid out, the rest of the money would be transferred to Delaware just in one payment from a claim submitted. The way it looked to me, Brad submitted a claim at the end of the year, and then that was paid after to the auditor's office. The issue came up.
Okay, right here. Here we go.
How has it happened?
It's happened in the past. Brad's contract.
Yep, here we go. They're talking about the contract.
I concur. And I guess more amounts to fill the position and then add with the contractors. Socialize with the groups, but basically ECI would be the lead on proactive.
Agreement. I had them updated because they had sent over a draft for your signature, but they will actually report to East Central Indiana Regional Planning.
So I'm going to tell you right now what I don't like. Right now, it's like they're trying to split Brad's job into two different positions. They are giving the local and the state economic development stuff to Elizabeth Roway. And then they're paying Elizabeth Roway's people to do this work, which I don't like because Elizabeth Roway is a state representative. And to me, it's like breaking it. See, Alva, it's like breaking the dual lucrative office positions. It's like skirting around that. And I don't like the fact that she's paid as a state representative and she's also going to be paid by the county that she represents or portions of to then do this economic development. And then meanwhile, they're going to be giving the international side of economic development to Bill Walters' company. And Shannon Henry and Michelle Batters here were very big on doing this. Now, here's the issue, though. Michelle Batters works for Bill Walters. Now, in the past, she's never abstained from voting because it didn't matter. They had the votes, they ran the board, and no one was going to say anything. Well, now they don't have the votes. They're the odd people out. They're the low man on the vote totals. And so they've got to be very careful how they do things. That's the reason they switched Michelle Batters out. And I'm afraid we're going to have to see what Stephen's going to do. Is he going to vote along? Because they've been tabling this so far. But Shannon, I would say, is getting impatient and it's going to start pushing, giving this contract to Bill Walters. Let's listen to a little bit of this.
So I had them update their actual contract for Bill's signature because he's the one they will report to and they have the agreement with. But we'll do a resolution for the contribution of the $80,000 for you guys to sign off on the resolution portion of it. So I thought that was the cleanest way to deal with kind of who's reporting to who and who's got the agreement with who on this. So to be clear, Commissioner Brand, you're looking for a motion to approve the $80,000 and go to the other county
What?
commissioners.
That's my motion.
I'm going to do a Commissioner Henry one. Mr. Keeson.
Yes.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes.
Commissioner Brand.
Yes.
Spatters.
I'm going to be abstaining from this due to my employment with ECI.
Ms. Green.
Yes.
ECIRPD agreement for economic development services. Commissioner Brand.
Yep. So met with Bill on this as well, and commissioners have taken the approach to split up the economic development agreement with the exit of Augusta. Put a responsibility matrix together, which I socialized with the groups. But basically, ECI would be the lead on proactive international outreach economic development. That's what this proposal is for.
Yeah, in the past, everybody knows we our economic development group went to Washington at least once a year. That trip was already planned. I got flight information yesterday actually about that. So they will
listen to what Shannon's saying. It's things are already planned
in May, and they will. I imagine there'll be a trip to Italy at some point. But I think ECI would be great for our international development since there's already a program in place for that.
commissioners already approved this agreement, and I wanted to get it on this agenda to make sure that you guys could consider the funding portion. Correct. So the agreement is actually signed by the commissioners. But I don't know the amount. Is this funding the entirety of it?
So the amount, it's set up right now, it's a 24 monthly payments of $10,833.30 payable on invoice, after invoicing at 30 days, beginning January 1st, 2025. So we're doing a little bit of retro. They have been working on behalf at the direction of this board. So that's the.
Well, we talked about in the commissioners meeting, I guess why I said that is there was some money going to be left in edit to contribute, and I didn't know if the full amount is going to come from redevelopment or if there's going to be some coming out of edit. I guess
Not
that's
much left.
Okay.
Not much left in
I
edit.
think right now, I would ask.
So what's interesting about this is what's interesting about this is you have 2 of the 3 commissioners sitting here. So this is a quorum of commissioners. So when Danielle Struble here says, well, we don't know the amount of money that it's going to take for ECI for the contract for ECI RPD. What happens is she says, well, we don't know if are we going to be paying it all, the redevelopment commission, or will the commissioners be paying it? And will it be coming out of edit and the commissioners control edit? Stephen Brand says there's not enough left. There's not enough left there. And so we know there that Stephen is setting up like, well, the commissioners don't want to pay for this. However, the commissioners have already agreed to pay for travel. And what's funny to me is this board tabled the vote. So they still have not approved the contract. They have not approved the contract. However, if you go to the ECI RPD page, and you look in their news section, 1 week ago, they posted this. ECI RPD's role in foreign investments and Select USA 2025. This month, this was a week ago, this month, the Delaware County Commissioners renewed their contract with the ECI Regional Planning District. What? That's news to me. They didn't approve their contract in the commissioners. They didn't approve the contract with redevelopment, and they didn't approve. I mean, the council can't do that. So why is this being said? What is going on between Shannon and Bill? How is Brad tied to this? Because Brad used to be tied to ECI RPD, but he did leave there. I can't help but think that he's still connected and friendly with these people. You know what I mean? That's not difficult to conclude that friendship is still there. So do they know something that we don't know? I mean, it only takes 2 votes from the commissioners. It takes 3 votes from the redevelopment commission, but I don't see how they're going to get 3 votes from this table. Okay. We have Rob, Lex Luthor, Amber, and Brand. So does Shannon know something from Brand that we don't know? I mean, is Brand going to vote with Wiggerly? Okay, so Michelle Batters has been removed, and Wiggerly, because Michelle didn't vote in this, okay? Michelle didn't vote, so she abstained. So that's why Shannon polled her. So now Wiggerly will sit in that seat, and Wiggerly will vote however Shannon wants him to. So basically, that leaves Brand to be the tiebreaker, because Amber and Rob are, I would say, not going to vote for ECIRPD contract. And Wiggerly and Shannon will vote. So Commissioner Brand will be the tiebreaker. Is there going to be something that causes that to fall through, or will he vote for Bill? That's going to tell me a lot. If Brand votes for a contract for Bill, I'm going to have a problem with that. I can't see how he would, but I also cannot believe that they would go ahead and put this out. It's shocking to me that they would put this out, and that Shannon would already have planned the trips. And the trips are I think there's one trip allegedly to DC, and there's one trip to where? Italy. That's right. We're going to be sending all these people to Italy. Why aren't we sending like one person to Italy? Why are we sending 3 or 4 people and their wives and whatnot? And I know Alva's in bed, but he's listening to this. And while they may screw me out of the record request for the previous trips, you bet your ass I will be right in there as soon as this stuff goes. Matter of fact, they've already got everything planned. So I'm going to write a note, and tomorrow I'll issue a record request for everything already connected to the travel. Vegas. Yeah, right. But you got to they also went to Italy. So here's the thing. What you've got to do is you have to understand that around the same time they did the Vegas, they also went to Italy. All the wives, all the friends went to Italy. Like, it was a big group of like 5 or 6, 7, 8 people went. And that's ridiculous. And that was all connected. Now, that was part of the complaint to the State Board of Accounts that Ryan Webb put in, and that I then sent some information into. And so hopefully they're going to look into that. Maybe not. I don't know. But we will definitely be on the ground floor of this deal, and we will have it straight away. And the thing is, I think that in order to make Delaware County a less corrupt entity, we have to cut ties with Bill Walters. If two of them went, correct? 2 of them went where, Alva? To Vegas or to Italy? While Alva's typing, I will go ahead and try to quickly answer Dave Hessler here. So, no, I probably won't talk about Kyle Mealy. I mean, Kyle Mealy took another job up at Marion. He was the principal of Westdale. My concern is not about Kyle Mealy. My concern was about the wastewater deal. I always got along with Kyle Mealy. I didn't specifically have a problem with Kyle. Kyle and I have always gotten along. I do know for a fact that he applied for another position up in Marion. However, I do know that let me tell you here. I do know that a big reason that he left was the lawsuit. Okay, and if you're not familiar with the lawsuit, apparently there's a situation where a teacher put their hands around a student's throat and proceeded to squeeze, okay, which in my neck of the woods, I would call that strangling, and that was an issue, and that Mealy had something to do with either trying to delete the video or letting someone know that they could delete the video. And so that was a big ordeal. And that a lawsuit is now in play. And what's kind of bothersome is the person that's suing is a school board member. So the school board member, and so what that tells me is maybe it's the school board mother's kid. So to me, that would put them in a very strange situation. So, if I hear anything more about that, or if something comes to my attention, I might talk about it. I don't have any intentions to talk about it. I know the Redevelopment Commission is talking about, matter of fact, in Amber Green, the president of the Redevelopment Commission, she gave her quarterly review to the council yesterday. And I know that she told the council that they are now reconsidering giving money to Westdell for the completion of the wastewater treatment. So now that Mealy's out of the picture, it seems like that's going to go through. I don't personally have a problem with Mealy. I don't know him. I would have a problem with him if he was trying to delete evidence of a teacher strangling a student. Is that what you wanted? I don't know. Did I answer your questions? I don't know. So let me know, but the only two things that I can promise you are fact here. Absolute fact is, yes, I'm large and in charge, which means I'm large and in charge. So I run this shit, and you can ask me questions, and if I get to it, I'll get to it. And if I don't, I don't. No big deal. You can subscribe to the show if you want, and you'll know if I do a follow-up on Mealy or Westdell. There you go. I don't know. Some of the records we got on Money and Westdell seemed a bit strange. Yeah, I mean, the whole thing with that whole deal was a strange situation. And there's a gentleman that can still sends me information about that, and it gets weirder and weirder every time that I get new information about it. So I don't know, but other than that, I don't particularly care. I've never said anything bad about the school, Westdell. I like people in Westdell. I like the people on the board. I like the people in Gaston. I don't have an issue with Gaston. I don't particularly have a problem with Mealy. I don't know. I don't know. Dave Hessler came in here hot. So other than that, all right, back to it. So, yeah, you're correct. 2 commissioners went, but then their wives went, and some of I think Brad Bookout went, and Bill Walters went. I mean, so 2 commissioners went, but then it ended up being like a whole group of people, like a friendship group. And so that's the thing that's questionable. And then just like the Vegas, what the rumor always was that ECIRPD paid for everything going on their trips, everything to Vegas, everything to Italy, and everything everywhere else. And then instead of all of these other individual people submitting claims to Delaware County, they instead submitted their claims all through Bill, turned all the receipts into Bill, and Bill Walters then submitted a claim to, I guess, the Redevelopment Commission, because back when he had the Redevelopment Commission in his pocket, when Brad ran the board and Brad ran the meeting and all of that, and he had the votes when James King and Michelle Batters and Angie Moyer and Bryce Conyers made up the board, they would pay them back for everything. You know, no one would tell them no. Now that Amber's on the board, Rob is on the board, and Brand, if Brand does the right thing, yeah, right, then it'll be good. King, Bookout, Walters all went on the trip. They benefited from that vote. Absolutely, that's the case. And so now you've got the Redevelopment Commission, who, let me do this. I'm going to let this play for a second. I know it's hard to hear, but we'll just listen for a minute. Let's put this back up here.
2008, 33 a month. Is what that is, right? So that's your motion. That's my motion. And keep in mind, too, this group has been doing work on behalf of this board in the absence of our director.
My input here, given that this board is looking to hire an executive director, I want to make sure that there is no overlap. I see that the next thing on our agenda is another economic development proposal that I understand has been tabled through you guys, but I want to be sure that there is no overlap in services that we're seeking from an economic development director, or seeking from our executive director, between ECIRPD, between DCR, Muncie Delaware County EDA. That's my hesitancy.
I concur. I guess more amounts of fill the position and then add with the contractors.
Okay, so if that's the case, I believe we owe ECI money for the work that they've been doing so far. We asked them to work. We have Brooke Struble, we have Tracy, and the Muncie Delaware County taking on the own lines of help, and they've been doing work. Brooke Struble getting paid, but these other entities are not.
And let me, and maybe this is just a question to this board. I know the job description we took off of the agenda for today because it's a mile long, but is a project manager moving forward. My understanding at the commissioners meeting is the international contract is to bring in the international. Return.
Okay, that might be the case, Dave, but if he still was involved in any way of attempting to delete video or directing someone to delete video, that's a problem. You get that, correct?
Turn it over to local. So on the international side of it, I understand it likely wouldn't overlap is the way it was presented to me, in that once it gets here, it's turned over to you guys to then manage. Is that?
Not to us.
To the locals.
Yes, that's correct. After a month, 2 months, get them here, get set, and then we turn it over to the local economic development.
And I don't know if that helps your reservation at all. I just wanted to make sure you understood what I understood from the commissioners.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Is travel included in this? It is not. The various expenses not otherwise provided for herein shall be approved by the council prior to expenditure of the item received shall be, so like Select USA, those types of things would be in addition to this. This is, as I understand it from talking to the bill, is to fund a couple of additional.
Send it to me. Send it to me. Here we go. I'm gonna send you where to send it to me. Right here. Right there. Put it on. Send it on.
Positions to handle the work.
Send it to one of those emails.
There's not people currently doing it, but the bill has been doing it somewhere. So we owe, regardless, we owe ECIRPD money for the work they've already done.
Correct.
We need to pay people for the work they've done. No question.
So, did you hear what Lex Luthor just said there? Lex Luthor asked if travel was included, and Shannon said no. So they're going to pay this guy. They want to pay this guy, and I got to find out from them tomorrow. Maybe I'll call Amber and see if I can find out, or I might have to issue a records request. They're going to pay ECIRPD a large ass amount of money, and they don't then have to pay for their own travel. They want the county to pay for the travel too.
But there's almost $11,000 monthly contract within travel expenditures and other unknowns are pre-approved. Will be on top of that. Is that by the commissioners?
The motion made was up to 11,000, correct?
Right. Up to 10,833. Well, its motion was to approve the amount on your
Right.
contract.
So would the additional expenditures be coming to us in the future above and beyond this?
It says count, so it's not specific.
It won't come.
Not.
How has it happened?
It's happened in the past. Brad's contract was paid for by the commissioners. Some funding was used through ECRC as well. So it was both places. Both the commissioners and ECRC.
And now it's being fully funded by DCRC?
There would be some expenditures that come to the commissioners as well. What we're asking.
They did, Tweety Bird. I would like to have an update on exactly where that stands. I also want to know, does it take six people and their spouses to do that? Or could like one person do that? You know, could two people do it? And do those two people need their spouses to do it? You know, I just want to make sure that, you know, what we're doing is makes sense. You know what I mean? That would, you know, I want to make sure that's no, I know that. No. I know, and I know that you're not necessarily supporting that. And I think that what you're talking about is Vitechnic. Vitechnic is what I think that you're talking about, which it says, I can show you all here. Vitechnic unveils new North American headquarters in Muncie, Indiana. Vitechnic held a ribbon-cutting ceremony to officially open its new North American headquarters in Muncie, Indiana. The company, based in San Vito alla some Italian name, Italy, specializes in rubber, plastic, and glazing components for the automotive, defense, and rail industries. Vitechnic's expertise in automotive industry is linked to the design, development, and production of plastic tech parts such as ADAS, Advanced Driver Assistance System, camera brackets, and tech sealing systems for glazing applications. Utilizing advanced technology and robotics as manufacturing process, Vitechnic works in cooperation with top automotive manufacturers, primary industry suppliers, and other major global operations. Let's see. It's got a 1,500 square foot facility in South Muncie Industrial Center with plans to hire skilled technicians. So my question is, have they? Okay, so efforts are underway to recruit manufacturing workforce for the production lines by the end of March 2025, ranging from 6 to 18 employees, with production expected to begin in June. Further employment opportunities will be created as production demands grow and additional U.S. automotive programs certainly in the development phase in the Italian HQ. So, that's interesting. I mean, 18 jobs is not a bad thing. That's a decent thing. It would be interesting to know how much of this has come to pass. Let me check my email here. So while you're speaking in with a nom de plume, let me ask you this. How do you happen to have a picture of a video? How do you happen to have a screenshot of a video? That's rather interesting. I would blur the kids' faces out before showing this. So it's not like something I'm specifically going to show now, because it's not what I'm talking about now, but I'll definitely look into this. So let me ask you this, Dave Hessler, are you saying that this is something worth looking into? Are you saying this didn't happen? Are you saying that Mealy wasn't involved with trying to delete the footage? Like what are you, because you came in hot, but I don't know what you're trying to accomplish. Like, just talk to me. I'm a kid at the school. I just go there and it was sent to me. I'm obviously not saying anything because I would get in trouble at school. Yeah. I'm not asking you to out yourself. You don't need to out yourself. But maybe you could email me. Like I'd be interested in talking to you. I don't know if you've watched before or whatever. I don't know. It's weird. You're a kid. So I don't know if I should even be talking to you, but maybe ask your parents if it's okay for you to talk. I don't know what. It's weird. But if you want to send me anything, I would be interested in hearing what you think is going on here. I'll assume you're 18. Are you 18? Or have your parents given you permission to talk to me? That's weird. But I don't know. I don't know what you're trying to say here. I don't know if you're trying to say that Mealy wasn't involved. Like, I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm not trying to be mean to Mealy or whatever. I don't particularly care one way or another, but I'm just telling you what I've heard from outside folks. So, or inside folks, rather. I mean, people who have been inside and involved with all of this is what I've heard. So that's that. Okay. Getting back to this. I don't think Mealy's in the wrong. I believe the kid was expelled for doing it, and the kid that was choked out still goes there. I don't really care. I'm just trying. Well, troll on, bro. I love it. Now I like you. So yeah, okay, that's cool. You're welcome to troll on as much as you want. I love it. Shit. Get to bed. Isn't it past your bedtime? Okay. So anyway, listen, I'm not against economic development. I'm cool with them going and doing things that they need to do. What I am against is vacations for all of these people's significant others. That's bullshit. And I'm against Shannon Henry. Why is Shannon Henry so concerned with pushing Bill Walters? What does Shannon get out of it? Well, I think I know. Well, yeah, Henry has tickets to go too. Yeah. That's what Henry said. They've already planned. They've already got things planned. So I'm going to be digging into all of that. But I think that there's something else going on, and I'm working behind the scenes on trying to find out what it is. I can't say more than that right now because I don't know more than that right now. But let me just tell you this. Something makes me believe that Jimmy King isn't gone. That James King is either still pulling some strings, or it just might be the fact that the ghost of King lingers on and it's causing Shannon to do strange things. With King out of the way, maybe Shannon stands to gain help from Bill Walters. Bill Walters seems like he might be in a position to give help. Has he given help in the past? Well, we know that he was the head of that PAC, the Political Action Committee, that pushed James King and Jessica Piper and all of that shit. So now that King's gone, maybe that Political Action Committee with Bill Walters will push Shannon Henry. Because I'm going to tell you, Shannon Henry, if he runs again, he is going to be facing primary challenge. I'm telling you. As I've been saying here for months, I quite honestly could see a Matt Kantz, Shannon Henry run. And that would be very ballsy of Kantz. That it almost seems like it wouldn't be Kantz's style, because he would be doing the same thing that Jeff Robinson did. He has a chance to run for re-election to the council, and if Kantz would just simply run for re-election to the council, he would have it hands down. Nobody would probably run against him, but if they did, he would win. But is he eyeing the seat that Shannon sits in? Because Shannon, as he always does, is telling everybody, I'm not running, which he always says. He said that for the last 2 elections. I'm not running for re-election, and then he runs. I'm not running for re-election, and then he runs. Well, guess what? Right now he's saying, I'm not running. I'll believe it when I see it. So then just lastly, I will show you this. Going over to the Delaware County Council meeting that took place yesterday. And that was this.
Piper. Yes. It's Kantz. Yes. Quiet. Yes. Thank you, Tony. All right, moving on to appointments and committees. At the request of Mr. Bookout, I'm still working on reaching out to all of our appointments, but I have asked the DCRC, the Delaware County Redevelopment Commission, to be in attendance. Both of our appointees are here. Thank you very much. Would one of you like to get up and give just a little update, please?
Good morning, Council. Thank you for allowing me to give this update. I'm Amber Green, President of the Delaware County Redevelopment Commission. The Commission consists of myself and Rob Kiesling as your two appointments, Commissioner Brand, Commissioner Henry, and Carrie Wiggerly, who just replaced Michelle Batters as of yesterday. Michelle Batters was our vice president, so we will need to select a new vice president at our next meeting. Last week, the commission received the annual TIF report from Baker Tilly that provided us an overview of estimated funds in each TIF. They did a slide presentation that was approximately 80 pages. We do have the full report that's approximately 200 pages, so we are all reviewing that as well. Given that we did not have that report for our January or February meeting and the uncertainty with SB1 and potential property tax reform, we have been conservative in spending so far this year. Some of our notable resolutions include 8 brand new vehicles for the Sheriff's Department, equipment for the Highway Department, collaboration with the city on the Make My Move program to attract out-of-state workers. We have proceeded with completion of the Cowan Road Trail, phases 2 and 3 of sidewalk improvements in Cowan, design of an additional entrance for Park 1, and we are supporting the exploration of sewer connection options for the West Elk Community School Corporation. We did rescind a design study for a roundabout at County Road 600 West and 400 South. Commissioner Henry noted that he believes that our own county highway department can probably do improvements to that intersection at a much, much cheaper rate than what we were presented with. We also declined to support a traffic study in Yorktown as it was already approved and funded by their own council. With the departure of now Councilman Bookout as the executive director of the DCRC, we have developed a job description for an executive director position, and that should be posted in the coming days. Any questions?
Very much. Any questions, as Ms. Green asked?
Hear it there? Hear it there?
No, thank you for your presentation. I know you've been busy. Would you be opposed, and our other appointment, Mr. Kiesling, to Matt Eckerly presenting the full report to this body?
I would not be opposed to that, no.
Good. If this body's okay, I'd like to ask Mr. Eckerly to present the full TIF report to this body. Very good. I'll work with the president then on that for the next meeting. Thank you. Thank you, Amber. Appreciate it. Thank you, Rob, for serving as well. All right. Moving on to Civic Center Authority. Last month it was on the agenda. Jessica, could you please give an update?
Sure.
Watch
So
this.
I had the flu last month, so I was not in attendance.
This doesn't have anything really to do with it, but just what this is something else kind of interesting. Just keep this in mind. So what the president's doing, Whitehead's doing, is asking for an update of all these various boards. So he asked for it from Amber. And of course, the very last thing Amber said is the most important thing here. She and Rob and their board, their people, her side is putting together a job description for what the replacement for Brad would look like. Shannon doesn't need that because his replacement for Brad is Bill Walters. We're starting to hear where this is lining up. Amber and co. want to hire someone that is not Bill Walters. Bill thinks that they should have already approved it. Look, matter of fact, if you go back to his news release from just a week ago, his news release from a week ago says, this month, the Delaware County Commissioners renewed their contract with the ECI Regional Planning District. Well, that's not what happened at all. That did not happen at all. So he's getting the cart before the horse. So I think that's funny. But it'll be interesting to see what happens at the next commissioners meeting to see if Henry brings it up, trying to get the commissioners to act. And the next redevelopment commission meeting should be very interesting because Shannon is going to want to push for a vote during that meeting. And it's going to be interesting to see how it turns out. All right. That said, I want to take you back here just 1 second and listen to what Eugene asks of Piper.
Thank you, Amber. Appreciate it. Thank you, Rob, for serving as well. All right, moving on to Civic Center Authority. Last month it was on the agenda. Jessica, could you please give an update?
Sure. So I apologize. I had the flu last month, so I was not in attendance to present on the Civic Center Authority, but myself and Marianne Crowderville are our Republican appointments to the Civic Center Authority Board. This particular board was established by the commissioners. It takes in the money from the food and beverage tax, and then we pay the convention center that money on a monthly basis. Actually, this body, the council, determines the rate, which ever since I've been on council, we have not adjusted the food and beverage rate. But essentially, we meet monthly, we go over and we listen to what's going on at the convention center, what their needs are, and then we approve the monthly payment. It's the same number every month that goes to the convention center for running the convention center. So I think right now, about 50% of the convention center funds are coming from that food and beverage tax for operations, and then it also covers the bond on the parking garage, and then any ditch assessments that come up. So that's really all we do. I also serve on the as the president of the CCA board, which then puts me on the DAC board, which is totally different, but there's a lot going on DAC right now too. So,
Alrighty, thank you, Jessica. Any questions for Jessica? How many years are left on the bond?
a lot.
What?
I think it's in the 2030s somewhere in there.
20-year bond to begin with.
Yeah. Is it 20? We have our DAC president here. We could probably speak to that too.
If you have the answer, please take the podium. Rob, if
Sorry,
you would.
Rob.
How embarrassing. Jessica didn't know?
Good morning, Rob Kiesling, also president of the DAC board with Councilwoman Piper. I believe the bond on the parking garage is a 2038. It did.
Well, thank God Lex Luthor was there.
Parking garage bond was backed by MRC.
Looks like somebody just kicked his dog.
There's mine. Other questions on that one? Any other questions there, Jim?
Rob, smile.
Under bond as well. The building is not, but the garage is.
And you want to talk about somebody that's got his hands in a lot of pies that's not ever done anything crooked? Like this is an example of how someone could do it. Like, you got Dustin Clark out here touching all these pies and trying to bring it all into his pocket, where you got this dude who's doing the right thing, and he's as clean as it comes, man. I mean, Rob is a stand-up guy. I don't always agree with things that he does or votes that he makes, but I understand where he's coming from, and I can respect that.
Jessica.
But I just like it there that he had to come up and save Jessica's ass. Someone who's been in politics this long, used to be the president of the board, is a council appointment, and doesn't have a clue what the answers are to the questions that she's being asked by her fellow counselors. So Lex Luthor has to step up to the plate and, take the swing. Just another reason why Jessica is ridiculous. So the biggest point of this, and you can go back and you can watch this entire council meeting. There are some interesting parts to it. It's basically blah. Since Ryan's gone, nobody asks any questions. I liked one of the comments from Ryan Webb here. I don't know. Let me see if I can find out where it was. Give me 1 second here. I think that I can find it under. Oh, you know what? I know exactly where it's at. It's under Rick Yenser's post about the property tax. The property tax rally. Give me 1 second here. Let me scroll to it. Yeah, right here. Right here. Very, very interesting comments. So, in these comments where let's see here. Ah, damn. Did they get rid of him? Hold on. Where is Rick Yenser? Let me look in one more place and then we'll be done. So Rick Yenser had posted these his pictures of the deal and of the rally, and what I liked was in the rally in the pictures, in one of the pictures, property tax rally. Rick Yenser. He had posted these, and Matt Kantz had came down and kind of blasted Rick, and I thought that was interesting. And then Ryan Webb had spoke up and said that was basically talking about how the Delaware County Council refuses to ask any questions and ever say no to anybody that comes before them wanting money in the Delaware County Councils. They never, there's never a no vote. There's never questions. Since December 31st, the questioning of everyone coming before the council for money is basically non-existent. And it's always 6-0, 7-0. It's never 6-1 or 5-1 if someone's absent. It's never, we never, ever, ever, ever see someone speaking up like Ryan did and saying, wait a minute, why are we doing this? Why is this happening? And it's again, it's crazy to me. And it might be right here. Yep. Right here. Ryan says, once again, the county council says yes to every single request for additional spending. They never say no to an appropriation request. This is one of the main reasons why the council objected to the property tax proposal, because they are not capable of making the difficult cuts as an entire council to the annual local spending. Secondly, the tax reform should not include an increase to the income tax, which places the burden solely on the working people. Instead, each county should implement and govern a countywide sales tax. The way the burden of the funding of local government is shared by everyone, not just homeowners and workers. By the way, since when did all Republican council believe in growing the local government? We're supposed to believe in smaller government. The auditor's office did not need an additional employee. And listen, I got to agree with him. Of course, Matt Kantz does what Matt Kantz does. Matt Kantz comes in and says, hey, king of the peanut gallery. Providing support for grant work in the county helps drive the revenue and pays for the position over time. We're also about to see consolidation of 2 positions into one, and the state helping to pay for county engineer and help continue to drive more funding for roads. Ryan says, that's a great explanation for the public. And on a side note, you missed a perfect opportunity to use the emoji, which was the crown. Also, are there any plans to place the grant writer in a department other than the auditor's office? Matt says, there will be no grant writer. This is a clerical administrative position only, and grant management software to go with it. Every department head will have access and be trained on the software to help input information on their grants and to search for new grants. And since in the end the auditor is responsible for the audits of grants, this position belongs there. So that was that back and forth. But I definitely have to say, I like to see Ryan pushing back against them, because it's just crazy. It's crazy every meeting to listen to these Republican commissioners and Republican counselors standing around sounding just like our Republican state representatives and our Republican state senators, acting as if they're not conservative or Republican. It's just absolutely insane. So there is a single thread weaving throughout our Delaware County government, and that is the Bill Walters thread. And they're just treading Walters, trying to do what they can to keep his head above Walters, and give him this position, which will pay him handsomely to do God knows what. I'm in agreement with the small percentage of them out there, but they happen to have the votes currently. Amber and Lex and those who are saying no more Walters. So we'll have to continue to see what goes on here. This is not done. The next 3 meetings are going to be interesting. The next commissioners meeting is going to be interesting. The next redevelopment commission meeting is going to be interesting. And the next council meeting will be interesting. So time will tell. Tomorrow is a Muncie Redevelopment Commission meeting. That is at 9 p.m. And we will be watching what goes on with that. Of course, we will be back here tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, as always. So tune in, hit the thumb on your way out. God bless each and every one of you. Have a great night, and we will see you back here tomorrow. Goodbye, good night, and that's it.